Just starting out our Reiki session here. Putting a little bit of lotion on my hands. Sometimes this can be a wonderful way of grounding in the present moment. When I start to feel a little bit stressed or start to feel a little bit off kilter, sometimes the easiest way to arrive back in my body in the present moment is by applying a little bit of self-love. It's like a loving self, but just holding your own hands, feeling the weight of your hands. How do your hands feel together? Even just that simple act can really help to bring us back, take us out of our heads, and arrive here, recognizing that gentleness and love and care is so powerful and so important. So this is how I'm going to start today's session, just as a reminder to you to care for yourself in what little way works for you throughout the day, just to arrive back here in this beautiful present moment. Okay. I'm going to start by doing a little bit of clearing. And I really want to encourage you for this session to just be receptive, open to receive. We are either in Mercury Retrograde or about to be, depending on when I upload this video. And it's a complicated time for communication. It's a wonky time for technology, for travel, for communication. So we really just want to start to bring awareness to any habitual patterns around technology. Maybe even the way you engage with like social media, or the way that you communicate through social media, how you are resonating, and is it authentic to you, the way that you're resonating in this space, and connecting with our sense of expression with regards to others. What's our relationship like with others, and how do we navigate that and move through it? It's starting to rain really heavily here, so you'll just hear the gentle rain falling on the windows. There's a skylight over there, so you might hear extra little pitter patters and plops. Hopefully that only serves to more deeply relax you and just remind you that it's time for rest, relaxation, and cleansing. If you are traveling at all during this time, I would suggest that you double and triple check your packing, your itinerary, the details surrounding your flight or your drive, get your car checked out, that kind of thing. Just really make sure that you're staying ahead of a lot of little snafus that can happen at this time. I find that another aspect of travel that can be really powerful and incredibly empowering in general, but specifically during Mercury Retrograde, something to practice is patience, because chances are something might go wrong. And so if you can invite faith and patience into this space, that can be incredibly empowering. So I'm just using the sage here, and I'm going to clear and cleanse your entire aura. I have my little abalone shell that's belonged to my Nana, and when she passed, I got it. So it reminds me of my Nana. Clearing particularly in the throat chakra here, to invite space for the possibility of communicating more clearly and more directly. When we are communicating, one thing that we really want to practice is being really clear about our intention. Why are we saying this? Why are we choosing to say this? Once we become very clear about what we want, and really clear on what we want to communicate and express, then it's important to directly communicate what we mean. And if you notice yourself starting to say things that are different from what you mean, just start to reflect on that. Now, this isn't about going around and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. You have to have the beautiful awareness and the wherewithal to really connect with your intention and to decide how you're going to say something and who you're going to say something to. But it's important to consider these things. And if you find that people don't often respond very well to you, or maybe that you find that there's a bit of an impasse when it comes to your close relationships, I would start to look at communication, because what might happen here is that you might never have been taught how to act accurately and effectively communicate. It's a great time for me to be making this because of Mercury Retrograde. I always get a little tongue-tied. But we're all working on these things, right? In these sessions. This is rosemary for focus and tea tree, just to invigorate the energy here, and some moon water. But what could be happening if you find yourself not really being received well is that you could just not be communicating clearly. You could be communicating indirectly. So maybe you want something and you're saying something else. This can happen really often when someone's looking for connection and instead they find their way towards criticism or maybe gossip because they're trying to connect. So maybe if I'm trying to connect with you, and rather than saying something vulnerable about myself or asking you a question about what you're moving through or whatever it is that would bring us closer together, I might start to make fun of something about you, tease you about something that I'm not entirely sure that you're comfortable being teased about. And I also might start to other and say, that person did this, do you want to hear about it? And start to gossip in order for us to feel more connected, falsely connected, by othering someone else, creating a fractured take on our collective energy and our cohabitation here. So we just want to be aware of what we want when we're communicating, and then really start to pay attention and bring awareness to whether or not it's effective and whether or not we're staying true to that intention with the directness of our expression. Does that make sense? And these things can happen all the time, even when we're not intending to be rude or intending to be confusing or intending to isolate someone. Sometimes these are just patterns that we've picked up, and these things are incredibly common. It's incredibly common to see people who aren't very effective communicators. And I think it's something that we are hopefully all trying to learn how to do a little bit better. I know I am always trying to more effectively express what's in my heart, what's on my mind, to more directly communicate the impact that others have on me, to more directly and effectively communicate my boundaries. These are things that are incredibly beneficial in our lives, in our spiritual practice, and it's really important and empowering to begin a practice of awareness. Sometimes there are individuals who aren't necessarily trying to achieve something or communicate and express something, and they accidentally say something very rude or very curt or very cutting. But sometimes people do just want to kind of prod and poke and elicit a reaction. And that is a different kind of energy. That's the kind of energy that it's not really about healing communication. That's more about kind of touching into the heart chakra and seeing what's going on for you in terms of your own self-judgment. Usually when someone's doing that, engaging in that kind of hurtful behavior or harmful behavior and using their words as weapons, it's usually from a place of self-loathing and self-judgment. It's really sad, but also really painful. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. This is about communication, because so often we are trying to achieve something, and the words that we choose to use are actually hindering us from achieving that goal, from getting what we want. So here's just to starting to ask the question, how effective of a communicator am I? You might even ask a friend, a close friend or family member, do you think I'm good at communicating? When I message you, email you, or when we have a chat, do you feel confused ever by what I say? Do you feel like I'm direct and open and honest? Or do you feel that you're often a little confused by what I say, or often a little unsure of my intention? Sometimes when we have insecurities, this happened recently with a friend of mine, and there was something that my friend was feeling insecure about, and I didn't realize it at the time, but they were kind of being very confusing and not saying something. It was about making plans, and they were kind of being very wishy-washy. They just sort of kept talking around it, and I didn't know how to respond to it at all. So it was a funny multiple day back and forth of just I don't know what you mean by that. And clarifying and going back and forth, and then finally recognizing what was there. So it was all good in the end, and everything's totally fine, but it's just one of those things where I didn't recognize that that was what was going on, and if I had, I would have been really open to it and empathetic and just like, of course, we can do whatever you want to do. But if I don't have that information, I don't have the ability to choose how to respond to that. So it's a really vulnerable thing to be direct. It's a really vulnerable thing to express your insecurities. But to be unclear is to be unkind. You're going to cause so much more strife and suffering and so much more headaches. Not that any of these applies to this conversation with my friend, but you're going to cause so much unnecessary confusion and discomfort if you don't just directly communicate. And it's really hard. It's really vulnerable. So I get it. But it's really important that we start to work on this. So I'm just going to light my candle and set our intention here. And I would love to hear what your experience with communication is. I mean, all of you are wonderful. I feel so lucky whenever I read the comments here. You're just so incredible. So open, so loving, so vulnerable and willing to share, and also so supportive of each other, and just wonderful, incredible examples of effective communication can be seen in the comments. Let me know if there's been an interaction in your life, if you're open to sharing, recently, where somebody has communicated in a way that left you confused or befuddled or flummoxed, my favorite words. And if you're open to sharing what the interaction was, just so that we can start to hear from each other what is an ineffective way of communicating. Because it's also, we all receive information differently. So it's just helpful to get different perspectives, I find, on communication. on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session for supporting you as you move through this Mercury Retrograde, for activating and strengthening your communication skills so that you can more effectively and directly communicate and express your intentions. Now, if you would like to specify this intention or even set your own intention based on something that you're moving through, I leave this flame open for you to do so now, as long as it's in service of your own and everyone else's highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned selves. I'm going to place this candle here, and I'm going to use this clear quartz point to draw the sacred Reiki symbols outside of your heart center. Clear quartz is a very activating stone, and it's great for clarity, high vibrational energy, just lifting the mood and the energy. Clearing now at the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, casting it into the flame, any energy that's not serving you here. And now just moving through the throat chakra, staying outside of your actual physical body, but just moving through here, opening up this channel to start to heal anything that's preventing you from communicating effectively. Just opening up and creating flow here. Good. Very good. And this kind of work isn't about using the correct grammar. It's not about any of that. It's not about, telling you what you should say or whatever. It's more about just being aware of how effective you are. Communication exists in order for us to more deeply connect, in order for us to express our authentic voices. And so we just want to invite some energy into this space. How you choose to speak, the words you choose to use, that's specific to you. And it's so beautiful that the words that you choose to use are so personal and so exactly yours. That's your voice. It's your intention, it's your words. So this is just more about balancing and seeing where we want to be with our communication and trying to move towards that so that we can kind of bridge the gap. And if you feel intimidated about speaking, you are not alone. Communication has been a challenge for human beings for as long as we've been here. So be kind to yourself and be kind to each other, really. That's all I will ask is just kindness. Okay. I'm going to place a few stones on your physical body, if that's okay. I'm going to start at your crown, and I'm going to be using this indigo fluorite to really open up the crown and invite a sense of focus into your body. Indigo fluorite is great for clarity and focus, and it's associated typically with the crown or the third eye, or sometimes even the throat chakra. But for today, I'm going to be using it on the crown here. Gorgeous. The next stone I'd like to use is this lapis lazuli. This is a very regal stone associated with intuition and wisdom. So I wanted to use this for the intuitive properties of the stone. I'm going to place this ever so gently. There we go. Beautiful. The next stone that I'd like to use is this sodalite. I think if you're going to be using any stone for effective communication, I would suggest sodalite. Probably either sodalite or blue lace agate. I love using blue lace agate for more gentle communication. If there's a really sensitive subject that you have to communicate with someone about, then blue lace agate would be great for that. But I love using sodalite. I find it to be an incredibly empowering stone. I have a lot of little stones. Okay, so now on your heart space, I'd like to invite in a piece of unakite. Unakite is a great it's a great stone for unity, for union. It's a great stone for seeing the other person's perspective. So I'd really like to invite this in because I think having compassion for the other person that you're engaging with, having a deeper understanding or an intention to more deeply understand, can really help with our ability to effectively communicate. And it helps with forgiveness, forgiving yourself if you slip up, and forgiving the other person as well. Gorgeous. There we go. So I have two different tiger's eyes here. I have a traditional polished tiger's eye, and then I have a blue tiger's eye. And I wanted to invite both of these in. Blue tiger's eye is great for confident communication. And tiger's eye, I wanted to invite this one in for accountability. When we say something, we want to be responsible for our choice of words. And if we've done something that's disappointed someone, or let someone down, or hurt someone, or anything like that, it's really important that we take accountability for that. A lack of accountability is going to cause a lot more suffering than most of the time than the thing that you did in the first place. Obviously, there are exceptions to every rule and exceptions specifically to that. But I truly believe accountability is such an important empowering and impactful practice that we can engage in. So I'm going to place these two, one slightly below your belly button and one slightly above your belly button. There we go. Where did it go? Now I'm going to place this piece of sunstone right on your sacral, inviting in this joyful communication, inviting in a sense of play. It's also a great stone for leadership, and it takes a lot of empowerment and benevolence to invite in or to become an effective leader. So we're tapping into those qualities, even if you're not necessarily a leader. Here you go, just there. And lastly, I'd like to place this petrified wood outside of your base or your root chakra. So just here. Gorgeous. So we're just encouraging that energy to flow in through your left hip and swirl and swim around your body, grounding you, sending love and healing energy into your entire form. I'm going to use our owl rattle to really thicken up your aura and help support you. I'm just going to come quite close and place one hand at the nape of your neck and then the other hovering outside of your throat chakra, okay? You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are strong and safe and connected. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's such a pleasure to connect with you. I feel like the luckiest lady. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here, for all of your incredible comments. And really do check out the comments. It always lifts my spirits. And I know you are so compassionate and empathetic with each other. And you really try to lift each other, which I think is so important, especially these days, just to lift each other a little bit. Okay. Thank you so much. And until we meet again, be so well. So these are the ritual healing boxes. I just wanted to show you inside. This is actually the self-love box. Each of them come with 2 crystal-embedded tea candles and 3 gemstones. So this one has a rose quartz, a green aventurine, and a unakite. Love that for self-love. They come with the same large incense cones. This one is a gardenia. And with this rose and vitamin E anointing oil. So it's rose with a vitamin E carrier oil, and that's just to kind of anoint yourself. You can do it on pressure points. I like to do it on my temples or behind my ears. And then you can have them in this box. Just kind of keep them here with your crystal collection. So the link is in the bio if you're interested. Thank you to everyone who's purchased one, and I hope you feel the love that I put in them. Okay. Can you come up on the pillow? She just wants cuddles. Come on. For today's video, I just wanted to do a little chakra activation. And just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. But this is a new kind of video for me. I usually speak directly to the collective instead of the individual, so that always happens when I'm trying to do it like a perspective. Maybe your perspective on things is a little clouded at the moment. I'm not sure if that resonates with you, but that's what I'm getting here. But just sort of being aware of what is coming in so that we can be more prepared to make that decision. I love metallic sounds. These like clicky clacky sounds. But it does have kind of a funny smell. I'm not gonna lie, when I first used it I was like, what is that? But amethyst is a really great spiritually aligned stone. It can help with clarity, mental fog, really helps us see soberly. Invite some more mindfulness and some more of this energy work that we've been engaging in.